is Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Welcome to another episode of Step 1. I am Freddie Wilson. As a reminder, you can find every episode of Step 1 on Spotify and YouTube. And if you want to see more Step 1, give me a follow on Instagram at Step 1 with Freddie Wilson and Twitter at Step 1 Podcasts. We have a great show for you today. My good friend Dylan Carr is returning to the show. We did record the interview like 2 weeks ago, so some of the takes might be a little outdated. If you watch it, you might notice I may have had a bold prediction that, let's just say, may have been wrong. Also, we got awesome weekend of football where Oregon is still number one, and we got a walk-off Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels. All right, let's ride. We had a great weekend of college football, and it all started on Thursday night. That's right, Thursday night, where the University of Pittsburgh is still undefeated. No one is talking about Pittsburgh right now. They are an actual ACC contender. They are undefeated. Clemson has a loss. I know it's a non-conference loss, but Clemson still has a loss. Pittsburgh does not. And this was a big win. Like, Syracuse was a one-loss team, and Pittsburgh came out to play. Their defense is really good. To be fair, Kyle McCord threw a bunch of interceptions, but hey, like, that's a good defense right there. Again, we don't talk about Pittsburgh like ever on the show. I don't think the country's talking about Pittsburgh, but like, maybe we should. Like, they're kind of a good team. Moving into Friday night, Boston College proved they are just an awful team. So we talked a lot about Boston College. I live in Boston now. You know, they started off the season playing well. I thought I would show some love to the local team. Well, turns out Boston College is horrific, and they can't hold a lead to save their life. Also on Friday night, Boise State got a big win against UNLV. Ashton Jeanty was awesome, and this wasn't even his best game, and yet he still ran for 128 yards. Like, what Ashton Jeanty is doing right now is ridiculous, and I don't care if he plays them out west. This isn't easy what he's doing. It's awesome. Moving into Saturday, Navy is no longer undefeated after being demolished by Notre Dame. Notre Dame need a big win. Yes, like, you beat A&M, that's a good win. But after you lose Northern Illinois, you need to keep winning games. And they want to show people they're a really good team. And this was a very big win. A ranked win against Navy, but still, I still think Navy's a good team, but they're not ready to hang against the big boys of college football. Indiana is still undefeated and hasn't even been down on the scoreboard once this season. I know people say they haven't played anyone, but if you keep winning and winning by double digits, you're a good team, and Indiana is a very good team. Ohio State survived a scare by Nebraska as they were able to get a win. I still think Nebraska's a good team. I think they could win out their schedule. The rest of their schedule is pretty manageable. This was like the one big game that could have gone either way. Obviously, they lost a couple beforehand. That being said, I still think the rest of their Big Ten schedule is pretty manageable, and I think the future is very bright for the Cornhuskers. Ohio State was able to just do enough, though, just to get the win, and they have a big game this weekend, which we will get into later. Alabama was able to get a statement win by blowing out Missouri. I know Missouri had their quarterback injured, but Alabama needed a blowout win just to boost confidence into the program, and they did that. As for Missouri, I know injuries played a role, but I've said it for weeks. I don't think Missouri's that good. And when they play good teams, they can't hang. Texas barely survived against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is just a way better team. And while it was unlikely they were going to beat both Texas and Alabama in the same season, they're no longer a cakewalk team. Like, Texas had to fight to win this one. They didn't catch an onside kick. Like, it was not, you didn't just roll into Nashville and give your fans a show and they could go party on Broadway. No, like, Texas fans had to sweat this one out. The Oregon Ducks got a big win against Illinois Saturday afternoon. Illinois may have been ranked, but they were no match for Ducks. They couldn't do anything on offense. Oregon's looking like a really good team, and hopefully we just get better and better. I'm telling you, the best is yet to come. Moving into Saturday night, Penn State got a win at Camp Randall against Wisconsin, even with quarterback Drew Aller getting injured. Penn State just finds ways to win games, and they have a solid defense, but they got to show the country they can beat the best teams in the Big Ten. And I won't think Penn State is a legitimate team unless they can beat Ohio State. Brian Kelly still can't win the big game at LSU as Texas A&M found their offense in the second half. So we got some quarterback controversy at Texas A&M now. Connor Wegman was a starter, but he was struggling, and they put in Marcel Reed, who did play when Wegman was injured. But this guy comes out and just dominates LSU by running the football. And when he needs to, he can make a big pass as well. I think Texas A&M's offense is way better than Marcel Reed because he's a dual threat quarterback. I hope they stick with him because they are a more fun team with him at quarterback. Also, and this was just not a big game at all. The ending to the SMU and Duke game was nuts. Duke could have won. They got a field goal blocked. They go into overtime. They choose to go for two, and they do not get it. SMU is another team that no one is talking about. They have one loss. They seem to be taking the ACC by storm. And how funny would it be if a team from Texas won the Atlantic Coast Conference? Moving into the NFL, we had an awesome weekend of football, and it all started on Thursday night in Los Angeles with the Rams getting a big win against the Vikings. If you saw the end of that game, it ended on a safety. It was clearly a face mask penalty. I'm not sure how the refs didn't see it. Unfortunate way for the game to end because the Vikings had an opportunity to potentially tie the game. But as for me, I don't like the Vikings. I'm a Packers fan, so I thought it was a great no call, obviously. Moving into Sunday, Tua Tagovailoa returned for the Dolphins, but even that couldn't solve what Dolphins was as the Cardinals were able to get a win. The Cardinals are a team that are sneaky good. They're not a great team by any means, but they could find themselves in contention for the NFC West. The NFC West is up for grabs unless the Niners turn it around. The Jets lost to the Patriots as the Patriots got a much needed win, even with Drake May getting a concussion. The Jets are back to their old ways, and Aaron Rodgers can't save them. Devontae Adams can't save them. If only they had stayed on the Packers. But Jets fans are done with this "we have hope" nonsense. So I texted a friend of mine who's a Jets fan. He's not a friend of a show. And he was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm like, what, you're switching teams? Like, no, I'm just done for the season. They have already given up. They're back to realizing the Jets are the same old Jets. They get your hopes up and then they crush their dreams. Speaking about the Packers, by the way, we got another win, a nail biter win. Jordan Love got injured, but Malik Willis is a competent game manager, and no one can stop Josh Jacobs. We also finally have a kicker in Brandon McManus. And to be clear, I don't condone his alleged behavior. I just want to get that out there. Brandon McManus, the guy, not a huge fan. Brandon McManus, the kicker, my new favorite player. The Browns got a monster win against the Ravens, and I think I'm not alone saying Jameis Winston is the savior of the Cleveland Browns. He's not a bad quarterback. He is also an all-time teammate, so guys are going to want to play hard for him, and he gives the best hype speeches. The Bengals once again lost, but Joe Burrow thinks a 10-win season is feasible. We will see because their defense is not playing well right now, but we are a Joe Burrow podcast, so if he thinks they can win 10 games, so do I. The Lions had an offensive explosion as they absolutely dominated the Titans. The Lions are getting to the point where they just score so much, they need to find new ways to score. And it seems every week they toss a trick play just to add salt to the wound. This week, it was a David Montgomery throwing a trick play touchdown. The Falcons got a big division win against the Buccaneers, so they swept the Buccaneers, which is significant because in all likelihood, one of those teams will win this division. And I think the Falcons are good enough to not only be competitive in the NFC South, but like they could win a playoff game with the guys they have if they keep playing this well. Moving the afternoon, Josh Allen finally threw an interception this season, but that didn't matter as the Bills demolished the Seahawks. The Chiefs are still undefeated, and Travis Kelce finally found the end zone. The Chiefs are winning games, not because of their offense, although Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He's still great, but the defense is making up all the woes of the offense. Defense wins championships, and no one has figured out how to stop the Chiefs this season. And of course, we got to talk about the Bears-Commanders game. Jan Daniels threw a Hail Mary to win the game. I may have texted friend of a show, Ethan Ledwith, a picture of me and Jaden telling him I taught Jaden everything he knows. He's mad. Let's just put it that way. The Bears just find dumb ways to lose games, and it doesn't help that he had a cornerback taunting the Commanders fans during the play where James Daniels throws a Hail Mary. The Commanders are a good team, and for the first time in a long time, it's actually fun watching the Commanders. Moving into Sunday night, the Cowboys still can't beat Brock Purdy. The 49ers did not have their best game, but when the Cowboys had an opportunity to go score a game winning touchdown, they couldn't even get a first down. The Cowboys offense is abysmal and the defense is depleted. And I'm all for this because, like most football fans, not a big Cowboys fan. Really don't like the Cowboys. They are not America's team. I don't care what they think. And finally, Monday night, we had once again a primetime game in Pittsburgh where the New York Giants were able to hang around, despite running the worst 2 point attempt ever. Just, what were they doing? Maybe it was a miscommunication, but no one seemed to know what was happening and no one blocked. But the Pittsburgh Steelers defense did come through in the end, and Daniel Jones can win in primetime games. And the game ended with the most Daniel Jones interception ever, ignoring the wide open receiver and then just throwing it into double coverage. And now let's get to my interview with Dylan Carr. All right, today welcome on very special guests, our resident Padres fan, Dylan. Welcome back to Step One. How are you doing?
Doing good. Well, doing a little bit less good after the Padres lost, but
They did lose. So yeah, let's get right into baseball. So right now we're recording this on Friday, October 18th. As of now, the Mets are up on the Dodgers. I'm going out on a limb and saying Mets are winning the series. They are come back from 3-1. They're going to beat the Dodgers. That's just my take.
they've already lost 2 home games. It's
I
over.
know, but it feels right the way this Mets season has gone. That they just find ways, the weirdest ways to win games.
I
Like,
want the Dodgers to lose.
yeah, I want the Dodgers to lose too, but also the Mets are it's fun. It makes no sense. Like they found themselves in a situation where like the last 2 games of a season were a double header with the Braves where like if they split the series, both team makes the playoffs, but if one team wins both, the other team gets eliminated. Like it's been a fun season. They were like 0-5 to start the season. They were 11 games under 500, and yet here they are. Like, do not hold out on the Mets.
What's the score?
What's the score as of this taping? It is 6 o'clock on a Friday night. I believe it is 3-1, but let me report back to you on that. It is 3-1, bottom of the third. Again, as of this taping. This might not air for a while because we're probably doing our NBA preview next week. But anyways, I think the Mets are going to win, so that's my take. Guardians, Yankees. Again, by the time this airs, we might know who wins the World Series. I will root for Cleveland on this one because I will never root for the Yankees.
You want Cleveland to win the World Series,
I
or
don't
you?
want Cleveland. I don't really care if Cleveland wins a World Series. I just don't want the Yankees to win. And if that means Cleveland winning this series, I'm all for it. I will. They sell T-shirts in Boston that say I support 2 teams, the Red Sox and whoever beats the Yankees. So I'm all in on the Cleveland Guardians right now. Do I know a single player on the team? Absolutely not.
I don't.
I cannot name a single player on the Cleveland Guardians right now. Just give me credit that I don't call them by their old name. All right.
think they have a really good infielder, but I can't even
I
remember.
I think I bet they have a great team. I mean, they won the or AL Central, which I think was the best division in baseball. That being said, that doesn't mean I like know anything about them.
You see their walk off? Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
I both home runs. Yes, I did. I had Thursday Football One TV. Boston College was sucking. Turn on a baseball game. Perfect timing. 2 home runs. And honestly, there's no better sight in sports than a monster home run in the MLB playoffs or World Series. Like there is nothing better. I
Absolutely.
can't like playoff baseball is just fun. Like
Very
it's
random.
loud. The stadiums are filled. Like every pitch is like the biggest like deep breath ever, depending on who you're rooting for.
Yep, pretty
It's
much.
it's fun. I wish the Red Sox made the cut. They very much didn't. been a while since Red Sox. We had our chances. We did not get there.
I'm calling it now though. Padres 2025 World Series champs right
Okay,
here.
I like the optimism.
They're gonna win it next year.
I mean, I really thought they were going to get at least the Dodgers a run for their money. Did they? I didn't. Was it a
I
five
game
game series or 4 game series? I didn't watch, to be honest.
they were up 2-1,
All right, so they gave them a run for their money.
but I
The
don't know.
Dodgers are just a good team and also have a lot of money.
Yeah,
It's
but
just unfair that
ridiculous.
they like actually like have all this money that just spend, to get all the good players. Just how baseball works, unfortunately. But any other like baseball teams you were like surprised with the season? I mean, I still think the Mets are the biggest surprise.
Tigers are probably the biggest surprise.
Yeah, like we do have a few Mets fans who are friends of a show, so like we've talked a little bit about the Mets on the show, and it's wild.
Yeah, I mean I don't think the Tigers were
The Tigers had no business making the playoffs.
the playoff. They won a series. They
They won
swept.
a series. Again, like baseball's weird like that. Where like everyone, like obviously you have the heavy hitters, but every once in a while you just have this random team that just starts winning games. Like it's a long season.
The MLB playoffs are kind of like March Madness.
And not, I wouldn't go that far because it's not single game elimination, but yes, they are fun. They go quickly. It's fun. I'm a fan. It's not like a 2 month process. It's like it happens pretty quickly.
No MLB playoff ever goes like how you think it would.
That
Like
too, yes.
get eliminated. Sometimes they're
But
on to win it, but
and also it's not like, the NBA playoffs are awesome, but it's a 2 month ordeal. Like it starts at the end of April, doesn't end until mid-June. It's a process. Like there are a lot of games, and a lot of series that like are, they matter at the time, but they don't really matter in the end. Like who cares what the 4 or 5 seed? Not every team is probably going to make the playoff or make the finals.
you know,
But no, I would say March Madness is number one. I'm going to put the college football playoff in number two. It
well,
hasn't happened yet, but I'm already thinking it's going to be awesome.
I feel like I don't know because I
It's
feel
going
like
to be,
football is the most it's unpredictable, but it's usually predictable.
but imagine having like home games as a playoff game because like 4 teams are going to have home games. Like imagine a playoff game at
Like
your home. That's going to be so cool.
Nelson,
Like I know, like yeah, the students are gonna be on vacation, but like if I were a student, I would stay around if I knew there was a playoff game. Like that'd be awesome. Like
yeah,
imagine, like if well, I hope the Ducks don't have to host the home playoff game because they get the first round bye. But how cool would it be if Austin hosted a playoff game? And it's also like it's gonna be like four. I think they're all happening in. I think 3 are in one day for the first round, and like there's one the other day. So like it's just gonna be nonstop football for December. It's gonna be great.
well, I'm hoping that Oregon doesn't have to do that. They seem like they're good enough to get that first round bye.
I'm again, we have to win the Big Ten, and again, like there are good teams in the Big Ten. There's a lot of good teams in the Big Ten. It's not just us and Ohio State. Like we're not talking about Indiana. Indiana
They've
could
been
be very good. Penn State's really good. Like so, there are plenty of teams that can make the argument for the Big Ten. It's not like chaotic like the Big 12, but it is still with the expanded playoff. There are more teams you can talk about, which I really enjoy, and also the fact that there are no more divisions.
who's the top four in the big right now?
I mean, I don't know. How do you even determine that? Like, do you go off the AP top 25 or
Record
in the
like
Big Ten, or who are we talking?
big like in our division.
What we don't do divisions anymore. The Big Ten.
We're in the Big Ten yet.
Big Ten standings. I know Oregon's number one, probably. Wait, that's not true. Penn State's undefeated, so is Indiana.
They're
Uh,
under all.
so the current undefeated teams in the Big Ten are Indiana, Oregon, and Penn State.
That's it. What about Michigan?
Michigan, oh, Have you not watched a single game of Michigan football? Michigan football is a meaty 4-2, and they don't have a quarterback.
Oh, so they're not even that good right now.
It's not that they're not good. It's just like it's a rebuilding year for them. New coach, a lot of new players, and also they don't have a quarterback. They've gone through 3 different dudes. They can't throw the ball. And like old school Michigan could have just ran it, but it's a new Big Ten. Like it's different now. So I think, I don't think Michigan's a bad team. I think they're still a team you want to beat and they're a team that's very competitive, but they're going to have to keep winning games. I just don't see that happening. And maybe this is the year they finally beat Ohio State or if they finally lose to Ohio State. Maybe, maybe. I feel like we talked on the show. Where do you stand on the take that if Michigan beats Ohio State for fourth season in a row, Ryan Day's out of a job?
Nah, I think Ohio State will beat Michigan.
Okay, but let's say the hype. I mean, so do I. I think this is the year where they do it. But I do think if Michigan wins, Ryan Ryan Day might be out of a job. They might just, despite the fact he has won
Uh,
so many games through Rob, like he's lost a couple close games, that they could have won a national championship. Like, and then a really good coach is going to be up for grabs, essentially. Well, actually, two good coaches because Chip Kelly's his offensive coordinator. Because I imagine if Ryan Day gets fired, Chip Kelly is not going to be there either. So he's not on the hot seat. He's a great coach. It's just
yeah, on the
Ohio
table.
State fans really don't care how good you are unless you beat Michigan. Like, obviously, yeah, they want to win championships, but like, I think if you had to choose between win national championship or beating Michigan, they would pick Michigan every time. I really do think that.
Nah, they'll take national championships.
I don't know. Like, I think Marvin Harrison said, like, after all of his like outstanding career at Ohio State, where like, they made the playoff 2 out of his 3 years, I think, like all these great wins, and he's like, I would have traded all of it just to beat Michigan one time. Like he did, like yeah, obviously he's happy about what his awesome career. Nice guy, by the way. The brief time I met him, obviously, definitely doesn't remember me. I don't know. I think I said hi. My name is Freddie. Nice to meet you. And that was the extent of our conversation. He seemed like a cool guy.
I got a random question for you.
Yes.
All right, you can go to any year to watch any sports team ever, and you have to go to every game. What team are you picking, and what year?
I mean, obviously, we got to think of a championship team. So that is a random question. I feel like I would go football for sure. What's a good like undefeated football season? Maybe Bama, maybe '09 Bama. That'd be kind of fun. What maybe one of those Florida teams. Maybe like '06, one of those Florida teams. Yeah, definitely that era.
I was thinking of the Giants team that beat the undefeated Patriots.
Thing is, they didn't have that great of a regular season. Like the season didn't go that great. I think they lost to the Cowboys twice. I mean, they obviously beat them in the playoffs.
I think they were the last seed in the playoffs, actually.
Yeah, but they were able to get in because they played the Patriots in the final week of the season, and they were already in the playoffs. So I think they were able to sneak in before the final game of the regular season. But then that was like a big game for them because they wanted to ruin the Patriots like run of a regular season. Obviously, they got their revenge in the Super Bowl, but like usually, like if you're going to the playoffs, that game doesn't matter. But it mattered so much more because the Patriots just want to say we won 16-0, and obviously they did.
That's what. So the Patriots were the only other team that could have went undefeated, but they lost in the Super Bowl to it.
Well, I mean, I think the Miami Dolphins had an undefeated season, but not in like this era. I think there were less games back then.
No, I'm
But I think
saying,
the 72 Dolphins, I want to say, had a undefeated season.
and the Patriots went undefeated to the Super Bowl and lost.
Yes, I know. I was here. This is when like I was obviously a Packers fan, but like I was like still like I don't know. I had a lot of friends who were Patriots fans. I felt bad because again I was 10. I didn't know better. Obviously now I'd be laughing in their faces.
Well, I mean, they ended up having a great dynasty, but
Yeah, I'm well aware. I grew up in the greater Boston area. I watched it happen.
uh,
I went for all of it, and now I'm going for the part where they're bad, and it's really fun.
yeah, they deserve to be bad for like.
I'm they've kind of tapered off. At least the people my friends who I follow on social media, they a little tapered off a little bit. Like I remember when Mac Jones like had a good rookie year. Like I had my friend of the show Ben. He was like posting on his Instagram. It's like, welcome to Massachusetts. This is our guy. So he's not doing the same for Drake May. So he's not ready to hop on the hype train yet.
Patriots, they're not going to be good
Oh,
for.
not this year, but I mean Drake May had a better start than I thought he would. Obviously, they were never going to beat the Texans. And again, we're recording this like 2 weeks before this probably airs, so who knows what Drake May has done since.
Who's the Niners and Chiefs play on
The
Sunday?
Niners and Chiefs play, yes.
That's a
That's gonna be a fun one.
interesting one.
I mean, I think the Niners are gonna play well, but again, there's a lot of injuries on the team. But the Chiefs have injuries too, and they're still winning games.
Yeah, they're like I think they're undefeated, right?
Chiefs are undefeated as of this recording, correct? Coming off their bye week.
49ers have had a
Had a couple losses.
they lost to the Cardinals somehow.
Just wait. The Packers beat the Cardinals.
They
Also,
lost.
the Packers do play the 49ers later this season, so you better
They,
watch out.
on,
Packers are good, man. Just
I don't know.
saying.
I think once we get McCaffrey back, the NFL will get
Is he
us.
coming back? I don't think he is.
It said early November, I think.
Yeah, but the amount of times they have rewarded the extent of his injury from like, oh, he'll be fine. He's just missing practice. Like, oh, he's got like tendonitis in both his Achilles to like he's seeing a doctor in Germany to get a third opinion. Like, that's not going in the right direction. It might be a lot worse than people realize. I think they don't want to say he's done for the season.
He's coming back. He's coming back, and then the Niners will probably win the division.
I'm We'll see. We'll see. I don't think if he does, it's not going to be for a while. I really like who knows. But obviously, once he comes back, he's an absolute difference maker. But I think the extent of his injury was a little bit more than they wanted to lead on to.
I
Because
will
I
say,
think they want to give teams the illusion that he's totally come back, so they at least have to prepare for it. But no, he's not coming back.
what is his injury? Like an
It's
Achilles?
like an Achilles tendonitis thing. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Like I don't.
I host a podcast. You think I'm a doctor?
He was healthy all the way through the Super Bowl, and then while over the offseason, he just got hurt, and then he can't play.
Maybe he was like played through pain during Super Bowl. I don't really know. I mean,
I mean,
obviously there are guys who probably play through pain in the Super Bowl. I would do the same.
too many good NFL players are always injured.
That is the nature of the industry, though. It is, you are actively trying to hit each other.
That is true.
Like that is typically how football works. There's also that concussion nonsense.
Well, yeah, they've been working on the helmets, but
The reason why my mother wouldn't let me play football. Something about concussions.
it is
Also, like, let's be honest. You know me. Would I have been good at football? Absolutely not.
could have been a linebacker.
Really? I'm 5'11 and 200 pounds. I could not have been a linebacker. If anything, I would have been a scrappy wide receiver.
Like that.
Like if maybe at best. But I don't think it would have been for me. I think I would have been too afraid to get hit.
Who do you think? Who's the best linebacker in the NFL right now?
Currently,
I don't even know, to be honest.
I mean, I feel like we don't talk enough about defense. Like obviously, I don't even know who like the marquee. Shaq Barrett's pretty good. I believe he's on the Buccaneers. Could totally be butchering that.
I don't know if Fred Warner is having a great year or
Fred
not.
Warner's obviously a force to be reckoned with. There's good linebackers. It's just like
Is Bobby Wagner still in the league?
I don't think so. And also, he's pretty old.
Be old now. He used to be like
Like we're not in an era right now where we have like the true difference maker linebackers right now. Like obviously we have difference makers on defense. Like you have T.J. Watt, Michael Parsons is both a defensive end and a linebacker. He can do it all. Like, are you mad the 49ers drafted Trey Lance over Michael Parsons?
I would much rather. I mean, I don't know how
Are you mad that they made that little? It wasn't an oversight of a time. It was the right move for the franchise at the time. It just obviously it didn't work out for Trey Lance, but you
well,
drafted Brock Purdy. That worked out pretty
in
well.
the same draft in the very last pick we picked Brock Purdy.
Yeah, it worked out.
ends up being our starter. And Trey Lance, I think he's on the Cowboys, doesn't even play in the NFL.
Yeah, he's a bat.
He's
So you got your guy just in the wrong order.
pretty much everything worked out, but I mean, I would want Michael Parsons,
Yeah, I mean, Michael Parsons would be a difference maker.
Parsons on the same team.
It's, like if that's the one mistake the 49ers have made, they've made a bunch of great decisions in the last like 10 years.
They draft really well.
Well, I mean, except for that one draft.
Well, I mean, I think they might have drafted good players in that too. I mean, they drafted Purdy, but like a lot of the team is drafted.
Yeah, no, like obviously, like, you a lot of teams judge a draft by the first round, but like there are plenty of lower round guys who are still pretty good. Like, honestly, like I'm after the fifth round, I kind of stopped looking, but like there's still plenty of like fourth or fifth round guys who are studs.
There's plenty. Yeah, like I don't know if you know Elijah Mitchell, but he's the running back on
I
the
am
night.
familiar with Elijah Mitchell, yes.
He was pretty good for a while, but like Fred Warner, I think was a fifth round, maybe fourth round. I think George Kittle was fifth. Uh, yeah, I think Debo might have been like second round.
Yeah, no, you guys get good. You guys are good at valuing talent. Like the 49ers have a good system. And like really well, minus Trey Lance, any quarterback can thrive in it. Like Jimmy G was a competent quarterback in that system.
Well, I mean,
Don't give him enough credit.
in the beginning,
Yeah, but even then, like you went to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo.
but I mean, like in 20, that was when Jimmy was a little bit better, but like later on his
He threw
Niners,
8 passes in the NFC Championship game.
he's
And they
also
still won because, Raheem Mostert happened, but never forget. Oh,
I still
so
can't
what,
believe the Niners lost that Super Bowl, the 2019 Super Bowl.
which one was worse, 2019 or this past one?
Probably this past one, to be honest, because they were like not the way that they lost, but the that team was like by far the best Niners team, and they had everyone healthy, and they just still couldn't put it together somehow.
Wait,
And
I'm
they're
also forgetting the one you lost in 2013. How does that one rank?
that one's like not that bad. They were losing by a lot, and probably should have.
Almost came back. It
Did almost come back. They had the fourth and goal chance.
was the Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh matchup. It was great.
Ray Lewis.
Ray
They,
Lewis, and then Jim decided to go coach college.
what college does he coach?
He coached at Michigan.
Oh, really?
Did you not know that? He was. Why do you watch college football?
I pay attention to Oregon. Oregon's winning.
Okay, so you pay attention to Oregon and no one else.
Oregon's winning the national championship.
I mean, I hope they do too. Again, like I think Texas is probably pains me to say it. I think they're a better team right now. But again, a lot can happen. I think they have a tougher schedule than Oregon does.
Listen, I think that Texas is going to win it, but
Again,
uh,
Texas has the most complete team, and also like if they beat Georgia, I know they have a slightly harder schedule. That's just the giant game against Georgia, which is this weekend. But if they beat Georgia, which I think they could, like it's not a hard. A&M's will be a big one, but like besides that, it's a smooth sailing schedule. It's not a bad schedule at all. They've had a very easy schedule in the SEC.
I
Like
mean,
they avoided playing Bama. I think they avoided playing LSU. Like they just all they have to do is play Jordan. We're gonna check. I'm gonna verify this, make sure I'm not wrong here.
what's Oregon's next few games?
We played Purdue tonight, and then we got Illinois, Michigan. We got Wisconsin. I'm going to that game with the boys.
Why do we keep playing on Friday?
I mean, there's only one more Friday night game. Friday night games are fun. I'm all for it.
Play Purdue. Why
All
are we
right,
playing?
Yeah, Texas' schedule as of now. They play Georgia, Vanderbilt, Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, A&M. That is A&M at home or at A&M. They're playing at Kyle Field. That's a hard game. But besides that, like obviously Vanderbilt could be a trap game. They beat Bama,
Where
but
is A&M at?
A&M is currently 14. But again, A&M is
Where are they at in Texas?
College Station.
Is it like Dallas?
No, it's in the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
I've
okay.
never been, but I've been told it's in the middle of nowhere.
Where's the
Oh,
Longhorns?
they're in Austin. They got a great location.
So are they close?
What do you mean close? Are they close? Not really. No. I mean, they're in the same state, but no, it's Texas.
I feel like Texas A&M is going to have a bunch of Longhorns fans in it.
But again, like Kyle Field, like Aggies fans are they're kind of weird and they're very dedicated, so they'll come out for this one. It's the first time they've had this rivalry in a long time.
It's not like
Texas, yeah, A&M fans, they got some weird traditions. They got a lot of money. They got that oil money.
A&M's a
Also,
weird.
it's not a fight song that they do. They call it a war hymn. And if are you familiar with the Texas A&M war hymn by chance? If you look at the lyrics, it's basically just an anti-University of Texas song. Like they're not like, yeah, they're just saying we want to destroy the University of Texas. And they just sing that every single game. And it's not a fight song, it's a war hymn. So yeah, that's what we're working with down in College Station. They got some weird stuff going down there.
Is
But they also gave us Dude Perfect. So I mean, big fan.
last week of college football's rivalry week, right?
Yes, but again, like obviously, there's not some games are just random games, like because like not every team has like a marquee rivalry. Like, but yeah, there's some big games rivalry weekend. And again, I think November college football is gonna be way more fun this year because there are games that are gonna mean more. Because like you're gonna have like a two-loss team going against a one-loss team, probably. That's gonna mean something.
I think Oregon Washington is a way better rivalry week than Oregon State.
I think, these days, yes, just because like we haven't beat Washington in a while. But I don't think Washington's that good this year.
No, I'm just saying because like Washington and Oregon, they kind of go back and forth and have good games. And Oregon State, like you just kind of always beat them, so it's not as
Except,
fun.
but we don't.
Pretty much always do.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have lost them. What,
Yeah,
since I've been a fan?
the only time I saw them lose was when Oregon State had a huge comeback.
And then there was the COVID year as well. But
Yeah, but
I'll put an asterisk next to the COVID game.
COVID years doesn't count for anything except
Oh no, I had a good run. I was yeah, that was the year we were Mississippi State fans. It was so much fun.
Mississippi
I was a
State.
huge fan of Mississippi State for 5 weeks.
Mississippi State is like by far the worst SEC
Well, you
team.
know what? At the time, it was 2020. They just got Mike Leach as their coach. I thought they were going to be good. They beat LSU, who was the reigning national championship week one. We really thought we were on to something because we really didn't think the Ducks were going to play. So we like wanted to keep the hope alive. So we just, well, Mississippi State.
The SEC has like a bunch of good competitive teams, and then Mississippi State.
Mississippi State is not bad because like a poor manager. Their coach died. Like I know he died 2 years ago, but like that it's not their fault that they're bad. They
Two,
had a because they had a good thing going, and then their coach just dies of a heart attack.
two
So
worst,
I
two worst.
don't feel bad for Mississippi State. Oh, I do feel bad. I mean, I don't feel bad because they're bad. I feel bad because of the circumstances.
Is Mississippi State and Kentucky. Those are the two worst.
Kentucky's frisky, man. Don't hate on Kentucky. Also, you're forgetting about Vanderbilt. I know they beat
No,
Bama, but you're forgetting about Vanderbilt.
I'll take Vanderbilt over Kentucky in football.
I think they beat Kentucky. So yes, this year you're correct. I mean, I would toss the current Florida Gators in the mix as the rock bottom of the SEC. The current
Oh,
Florida Gators.
yeah, but they'll be back.
Will they?
Yeah, they'll be back. They're the Florida Gators.
Billy Napier is not going to have a job at the end of the season.
Yeah, they'll just find someone else.
Who's going to, like, I mean, there's rumblings that they could try to, like, spring for Lane Kiffin. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to stick with Ole Miss.
You know who's on the come up?
Who?
The Razorbacks.
Okay. Arkansas has been saying that for, like, the last 5 years with Sam Pittman.
Next year, they're going to the national
I
championship.
real what makes you think that the University of Arkansas is going to have a national championship contending team.
Because their fans are calling for it. And
Okay, yeah. Are you a fan?
no, I'm not a fan. I don't care about the Razorbacks. I'm just saying that
You
they're gonna.
just think, okay, so you just know like one or two Razorback fans who think this is the year they totally turn it around
Yep.
or next year. I don't think they will. I think if anything, they're going to be better at basketball because with Calipari as the coach, and they were already pretty good at basketball.
I remember in 2019 when our women's team was about to win the national championship, and then it got ruined
You mean
because
with COVID? Yes, I do remember that.
that was heinous.
We 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 probably would have won realistically. Like I don't think anyone. Maybe that South Carolina team was pretty good that year, but again, we'll never know.
I'm not gonna say it was guaranteed, but I think they would have won.
There were some good teams that year of us, so like who knows?
But I'm just saying they had Sabrina and they had a really good team.
Oh, it was a fun time to be alive.
I think it was actually me and you that went to their USA
Yeah, that was the first time we ever hung out when we beat Team USA.
beat. I went to that game kind of just wanting to see it, and they were like, I was
Yeah,
gonna
it's
leave time.
like
I thought, oh
I
no,
I thought like when I heard we were playing Team USA, I'm like, wait, they do this? I had no idea that Team USA like goes around to college campuses to play the women's team, and I'm like, okay, like they're like professionals. Like Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi are on this team,
yeah. I
but
remember really good in
we,
that.
yeah, the thing is, they do that every year, and they usually just beat them. I don't know why they do it, but again, Oregon, a bunch of college kids beat them. Obviously, like I think they were trying too. Like I don't think they were just fooling around. I don't see a world where Super doesn't try.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was pretty cool to see that happen.
Remember when
Because
Oregon
like
almost went to the World Series and lost?
in college baseball, yes. I mean we're not. I wouldn't say I'm a diehard college baseball guy. It's fun. I just don't.
It's not bad. I think the World Series is pretty entertaining.
I mean, do you know about the bar in Omaha? What they do for the College World Series?
You know?
Uh, so they sell Jello shots, and then they keep stats on which team's fans order them, and every year they have a competition of which fans drink the most Jello shots. And I think LSU is the current record holder because I mean it's Louisiana. They drink. I don't think they drink more than any other more. I don't think they drink the most out of all the states, but LSU fans drink a lot.
LSU.
Yeah,
LSU.
so the 2023 LSU championship run, I think LSU fans went to that bar and drank the most shell shots.
The main baseball schools are like Vanderbilt.
It's
I think
all SEC. It's all SEC and ACC.
SEC stuff. Okay.
It's SEC and ACC. It's like Wake Forest, like Vanderbilt. The Mississippi schools are really good at baseball.
So
Like
basically, mainly. And
again,
then
like college baseball is different. It's I don't follow college baseball particularly. I just watch it. When I don't watch it on TV, I just watch it. I'll go to the Oregon games when I was there.
yeah,
Baseball's fun. It's good. It's a fun activity. You gotta drink some beers. You gotta watch some baseball. It's fun.
baseball is a cool sport.
Again, it's not the best spectator sport. Obviously, football's number one, but baseball's fun on a nice summer night.
Yeah, I don't mind baseball. A lot of people say that there's no sports during the summer, and there's technically there's not that many.
There's baseball, but again, it's not the same. All right, like summer baseball is fun, but like I'm not invested in every day. Well, that's not true. I went through a Red Sox phase over the summer.
Red
That's just
Sox.
because I wanted to keep the sparks. They didn't suck. They were good, and for like 3 weeks before the All Star break, they had a good run.
Nice.
Jared Duran was All Star Game MVP. All right, they had a good run for 3 weeks, and then they blew it. But they were playing well for 3 weeks. And also, we have a Netflix documentary about them. They did a docu series about this year's Red Sox, and we also coming out Tuesday, we have yet another documentary about the 2004 ALCS, which obviously I'm going to watch. Even though I've probably watched every single documentary possible about that series.
The AL, wait, when?
Yeah, 2004,
Yeah, actually I
greatest
saw,
comeback ever.
yeah, the documentary on it.
There's
Well,
already a 30 for 30. There's probably other ones I watched when I was a kid as well, but now Netflix is doing one, so obviously I have to watch. Also, I'm just curious to see how well the players look like now that it's 20 years later.
was it a series comeback or like a
It was
game?
we were down 3-0 and we came back in a series against the Yankees. It was the greatest thing ever.
Oh, I was probably even
To be fair, I also didn't watch any of the games. I was 5.
down
So
three.
I missed I knew what was happening. I didn't realize the significance of it because
Was
again, well, I didn't realize the Red Sox. I was 5 or 6. I didn't realize the Red Sox like had disappointed people for so many years, and like that, like this was like the greatest thing ever. I didn't know that. I was 6. I remember them winning the World Series. I just didn't realize like the significance of that. I had been waiting for 40 years for this to happen. I was 6.
there any other 3-0 comebacks, or is that the only one?
In it's happened in baseball. It's happened in hockey. Not basketball. But the Celtics were close.
Yeah, they almost beat the Heat. Remember
Yeah,
that?
I watched all those games. Yes, I'm well aware they almost beat the Heat. All
Yeah,
right,
but in the next year anyway.
before I let you go, would you give us this last question for every single episode? All right, Super Bowl picks. We want AFC, NFC winner. Who do you got? And
The Niners are coming out of the NFC,
all right, you got the Niners. And
and
who are they playing and who's winning?
Texans are coming out of the AFC.
And who's winning?
The 49ers.
All right, you are our first Texans, Niners over Texans. You are. We have some Niners in the mix. Actually, no, you're our first Niners as well.
All right.
It's been a lot of Chiefs. A lot of like, yeah, a lot of Chiefs, a lot of Ravens. But you are our first person to guess Niners and Texans. No one has won with either team.
They're gonna get there.
I think they'll win the AFC South, but again, I think we'll see. They're young, they're fun. I'm high on the Texans, and the Packers playing this weekend, so potential Super Bowl matchup.
Tough game.
Because my preseason take was Packers Bengals. The Bengals didn't keep winning games.
Bengals are so bad.
They're not bad. They're just unlucky. And the defense is pretty bad, but the offense is great. We're a Joe Burrow podcast.
Joe Burrow. I wish we had Joe Burrow to be honest, but
I mean, so do most teams. Like he's an all-American dude, like an A+ human. Like I don't think you can, except for Tim Tebow, I don't think you can craft a better human than Joe Burrow.
I want Josh Allen or Joe Burrow.
Yeah, you have Brock Purdy. He's doing pretty well.
Brock
Brock,
Purdy's
Bro- he's a cool guy. He's a good player. I'm still shocked he went that late in the draft. I remember he was pretty good at Iowa State.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, Mr. Relevant came
He's
in.
Mr. It's a better story, anyways.
I know there was never a Mr. Relevant that was like actually relevant in the NFL. So
No, that's why it's literally called Mr. Irrelevant. And then Brock Purdy came along and changed the narrative.
it up.
All right. Well, this has been awesome. It's always great having you on the show talking about sports. Hopefully, some of the takes we said are still relevant whenever this airs. All right. Awesome having you on the show, Dylan. See you later. Got what could be a chaotic weekend of college football, and it all starts Saturday right at noon with Penn State and Ohio State. And again, I've probably said this a bunch of times, but I'm going to double down on this. This should not be a noon game. This should be a 7:30 kickoff, white out game. You got game day coming. It's the biggest game of the year for Penn State. The fact that you're not utilizing the power of the Penn State whiteout is ridiculous. And on that front alone, I hope Penn State loses because I have a theory the school just wants more money because the whiteout game already ranks in big ticket sales, but this is ridiculous. This is the greatest home field advantage you have in college football, and you are not utilizing it for Ohio State instead of wasting it on Washington. No, it's ridiculous. Like, yeah, Happy Valley will be great, but no, the whiteout is the whiteout. Just, it's ridiculous. That's just all I want to get out. I know I've said it so many times, and I'll probably say it next week as well. We also have Duke going down to South Beach to take on Miami. Now, normally a game like this, why would I talk about it? Well, I'm convinced there's no way Miami can just waltz through the ACC schedule unscathed. And I think Duke, well, not a great team, they're good enough to catch Miami maybe on a bad day. Plus, it's a noon game in Miami. Campus is a good 45 minutes away from the stadium. So I just hope more Duke fans come out who chose to stay closer to the stadium. I don't think Miami students, maybe some fans, but not the students, are going to like get out of bed pregame and then bust down 45 minutes to the Miami game. Plus, I've told Jeremy Spire, a friend of a show and Duke alum for weeks, that I think Duke will beat Miami in this game, and I want that to happen. I really do think it could happen. I think Miami's good. I just don't think they could just waltz through the schedule that they have. It's a pretty cupcake schedule, to be honest. So they got to lose a game, and I think Duke can do it. Moving into the afternoon, we got Oregon heading out to Ann Arbor and the Big House to take on the Michigan Wolverines. I'm going to be watching this game at an Oregon Ducks bar in Manhattan with many friends of the podcast, and I think it'll be an awesome time to be in friendly territory watching the Ducks duke it out against Michigan. Should be a fun game. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. We got a lot of Michigan friends. Our friend Seth Isaacson, friend of the show, is probably going to be at the game. Seth, if you're watching this, sorry I'm not going to the game with you. I know you really wanted me to come out, but we're going to New York instead. We also got Florida and Georgia and Jacksonville at what is called the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Now, I don't think this will be a good game, but crazy things happen on weekends like this. And if Dylan Napier wants to keep his job with Florida, it's very simple. Just beat Georgia. You will have a job in Gainesville for a long time because I don't think Florida fans will really care how good of a coach you are if you beat Georgia that one time. Like, this is a big game. Again, I don't think it's going to be close, but again, it's weekends like this. Don't have a lot of ranked matchups. Maybe Florida comes out swinging. But again, overall, on paper, not a great college football weekend. A lot of bye weeks. But a lot could happen. What if Indiana loses to Michigan State? What if South Carolina just decides to play well and beats Texas A&M? Like, not to mention, we got a ranked ACC matchup between SMU and Pittsburgh. No, this was not on my bingo card at all this season, but it's been a wild ride, and this game could have a lot of ramifications in ACC. And I did not think that SMU was going to be this good in the ACC, and I certainly did think Pittsburgh was going to be good. So I think that's going to be a really fun game. Moving into the NFL, we got what is shaping up to be a chaotic weekend of football, and unfortunately, it doesn't start on Thursday. I know there is a game on Thursday. It's the Halloween game, but maybe it was a good move giving a terrible game on Halloween so people can go trick or treating with the kids or go to Halloween parties. Because you got the Jets in another primetime game. Again, I understand why they gave the Jets primetime games initially, but they're unwatchable right now. It's a bad time to be a Jets fan, and they're going off. They're facing a very good Houston Texans team, so this game will be a blowout, and I probably won't be watching because maybe, I don't know, I'll be giving out candy because, my neighborhood is hopping and my mom's ditching me on Halloween. Struggles of, an aspiring podcaster who lives with his mom. Moving into Sunday, we got Dolphins and Bills, and hopefully this time Tua makes it all 4 quarters. If he does, maybe this will be a good game. But I think the Dolphins have other problems beyond Tua. The Bills are looking like a strong contender in the AFC. It's not a great morning slot of games, but we do got a battle between two awful teams with the Patriots and Titans. We also will see Jameis Winston and the Browns light up the Chargers, most likely. But beyond that, just not a great slot of games. A lot of teams are on bye weeks. And honestly, there are only 2 games like during the day with teams that have winning records. Uh, we got Broncos and Ravens. Broncos have a winning record. Despite the Ravens having all the pieces, though, they just seem to like lose games they shouldn't be losing. And the Broncos, on the other hand, no one thought the Broncos were going to be that good. I mean, I did. I did say Bo Nix will probably win 8 or 9 games, and they're at 5 games. They, find ways to scrap. They claw through it. They get wins, and somehow they have the same record as the Baltimore Ravens, who are seen as a Super Bowl contender. So don't sleep on the Broncos. And again, I still think Bo Nix could win 8 or 9 games. I said at the start of the season, yeah, rookie of the year, maybe that was a bold stretch. Jane Daniels did happen, but 8 or 9 games and barely missing out on playoffs is not out of a realm of possibility. Maybe I could be half right. But the big game of the day is Packers and Lions. The Lions are really good, but they're coming into Lambeau, and the Packers defense is better than years past. Who knows if Jordan Love's going to play, but I don't think the Lions are going to be running all over the Packers. I'm expecting a close game. I'm not saying the Packers are going to win. I want them to win, but I think the Lions won't be breaking out all the trick plays because they're bored of scoring in normal ways. Like, this is going to be a fun one. Moving into Sunday night, we got the Colts taking on the Vikings. So just today, I'm recording this on Tuesday, the Colts finally made a good decision. They're starting Joe Flacco over Anthony Richardson. Who would have thought that a 39-year-old Joe Flacco would be taking the place of your second-year quarterback? But you know what? Anthony Richardson has opportunity, and it didn't work. It's not working out for him. And I think Joe Flacco is just a better quarterback. He's more experienced. Yeah, he can't really move around. Well, it's not true. He got that run a few weeks ago, but he's old. That being said, I think they're a better team with Joe Flacco. And the Vikings need a win. And this would have been an easier game if Anthony Richardson was at the helm, but now that Joe Flacco's at the helm, this could change things. So I think this is going to be actually a way better game. And also, we got Joe Flacco playing. Anything can happen. It's going to be fun. And on Monday night, we got the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are injured. I think the Chiefs defense will be too much for Baker Mayfield. The Chiefs are probably going to walk away with yet another win. They just seem to win every game they play. I don't know when the Chiefs are going to. It's going to happen. It's just a question of when, because there's no way they could just have an undefeated season after winning the Super Bowl. That's not going to happen. Someone will beat the Chiefs. It won't be the Buccaneers. I really don't think it will be. That's our show for this week. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week. Big Fred, over and out.